Yo, today I want to talk about this upcoming crisis and how the web development space is going to be affected by the inflation, by companies laying off people. And this video is made as a pure observation, and I'm not trying to milk any kind of clickbait out of this. It's just how I think, and I hope it's going to help you change your perspective a little bit on things and will make you actually work harder than ever to accomplish your goals. So this is gonna be a bit of a slower video, no fancy editing and stuff like that. So stay until the end because I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna change your entire perspective towards learning the skill, getting into this field, and making something of yourself. So the first thing that I wanna say is that we can see here how the news and the media is playing a big factor on our psychic, how we think about everything, how we perceive everything. Because I clicked on a few videos on YouTube, everything that I see is related to this crisis. I can see the inflation clickbait videos. I can see all of that. On LinkedIn, if I go on LinkedIn, I can see people getting laid off from Coinbase, from Meta, from whatever. But in reality, even though this crisis is real, even though inflation is real, we still have to stop catastrophizing this whole thing, right? We as humans, we are pretty much built to preserve energy. We are built to look at the bad things rather than the good things, right? So we need to learn how to operate in this new world where people are actually taking advantage of our attention span and they're making money off of our clicks, right? Because that's pretty much the business. If you're on social media, if you are giving attention to people, you are paying with your focus and with your ability to produce something for yourself. And this is pretty difficult, right? Sometimes I'm actually deleting the YouTube app from my phone, the Instagram app, the Facebook app, the LinkedIn app, because I wanna stay sane while this crisis is gonna unravel pretty much, because I wanna be still thinking clearly, and you should be doing the same thing. So you shouldn't click on videos with catastrophizing titles. You shouldn't really look into that much, because there are things that you can control, and we'll get to that in a bit, and there are things that you cannot control, okay? So that's that. Now, let's talk about something which is pretty important, right? All these layoffs in tech. Now we see all these layoffs in tech, especially on LinkedIn. I see pretty much every day 2 or 3 posts from people that have been laid off from Coinbase, and it's pretty scary, right? I'm thinking, what about my students? What will they do? But in reality is that we are in an economy where the best survives, right? Or the best at a certain time survives. Thing is, maybe Coinbase is not needed. Maybe Coinbase is not needed. Why is Coinbase supposed to be operating forever? Why is Coinbase supposed to be growing forever? Why is Meta supposed to be growing forever? Right? So many people, if you ask them, like, they hate Facebook, right? You heard that before. So why are we complaining now that Facebook is going down? It's just the fact that we are catastrophizing every single thing and every single time. Now, if Coinbase is going down, that means there is an opportunity for someone, maybe you, to learn programming, to find investors, to fix the problems that Coinbase couldn't fix, right? Maybe Coinbase grew too fast. Maybe you will be the guy or the girl that's gonna create Coinbase V2 that's gonna fix the problems that Coinbase One had, right? Maybe you won't grow so fast. Maybe you're gonna take your time. Maybe you're gonna do more market research. I don't know. I'm not into that, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Now, what is the future of software developers? Again, because we are catastrophizing so much, we for some reason think that we're gonna go back in the Middle Ages. We'll start fighting with swords on the street or with lasers and stuff like that. But is like the chances of that happening, I think, are 1 in a million, right? There is only one way that we can go to, which is up. So I don't see a future where there will be no need for software developers, because we are literally creating the tools for the modern era. Okay, like waiter jobs will disappear, chefs will disappear, right? There are robots that are making pizzas. Someone needs to operate that robot. There are like people who are delivering stuff will disappear. Taxis will disappear. There is gonna be a continuous demand for software developers, and I believe like the software development is gonna become like a baseline skill that everyone should have. Or if you don't have it, you'll go down in the society where you'll be pretty much useless in the future. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but this is just my opinion. And regarding all these other services that are not gonna be softwareized, I guess, like people that are cutting hair, for example, they will be getting paid more and more and more because it's a manual labor kind of work. But then to be paid really well, you have to be really good, probably. I don't know. I don't know exactly where it's gonna go, but software development is not gonna go anywhere. Actually, the demand for software developers is gonna grow even further. Okay, it's gonna be even higher. And one thing that you need to understand with all this crisis is that the only thing that people cannot take away from you are your skills, right? If you're going through a divorce and your wife takes 50% of your stuff, she cannot take your skills, right? She cannot take your ability of writing code because it's in your brain. You know what I mean? If you go to jail, let's say 5 years, you are still, and you lose everything that you had, all your money, all your cars, all your houses, you lose everything, but you are still able to iterate through an array, manipulate an object, create an UI once you get out, because you remember it. Maybe it's not exactly the same because the tools have changed, but you understand the basics of programming, so you can pick up the new skills anytime you want, if you want, right? So now it's actually time to double down with improving your skills, getting better than ever, because things will get pretty difficult. And one thing that we actually got away with for the past maybe 20 years was the fact that anyone that was average was able to live an average life. But right now what we are seeing is the fact that the average person, like the threshold for the average person is not here anymore. The threshold is here. So now, if you were able to live a good life on 60 grand a year, like a decent, average, mediocre life on 60 grand a year, you could have 2-3 kids at home and still kind of drag it somehow. Now that 60 grand is gonna be at 90 grand, right? Because of the inflation. So now the rent is going up, food is going up, gas is going up, every single price is going up. So now you need to double down on your skills to make sure that you are able to not only catch up and be living an average, mediocre life, but push it as far as you can, right? once you learn programming, once you get better at programming, you can add a secondary skill, maybe design, maybe marketing, maybe sales, right? So you're gonna become a full stack person. It's one concept that I've been talking about in the past, maybe not so often recently, but you need to become a full stack person. And if you become this full stack person, you'll be able to make more money, live a better life for yourself. Because here's what's gonna happen. A lot of people that are kind of still derping around and they didn't hit rock bottom yet, they will hit it soon. And I was actually listening to a podcast with a guy called Iman Gadzi, and he was talking about the fact that if you are just living like an average life, and let's say you have a wife, right? And she's providing 50% of the household income and you provide the other 50%, right? If a car hits you or her, will you have the money to pay for the medical bill, and will you have the money to support your spouse while your spouse is in hospital unable to work? So suddenly you'll have like a huge medical bill. Maybe you'll have to pay some bill for your car to fix it, or some insurance stuff to pay for the other person that got hit. And then you'll also have less money for, let's say, 3 months, 6 months while your spouse is recovering. Are you able to support your spouse if some incident like this would happen? Are you in a financial situation where you are able to do that? Because you cannot really save, right? You cannot really save that much if you have low skills. Because let's say you are making 40 grand a year and you are able to save, let's say, 2 grand a year. Well, it's going to take you 10 years to save 20 grand, which will be worth less than they are now. But if you get to the point where you make $150,000 a year and you are still living like you are making 40, then now you have an extra, let's say, before tax, $110,000 that you can save over the next 30 years, and you'll have $1 million. Obviously, like, this math is like pure, not really based on reality. Obviously, you'll be spending more once you make more money. Probably you want to get a better house. Maybe you want to have a holiday from now and then, right? But just statistically and mathematically speaking, if you just live like you are right now with this $40,000 a year salary, then you'll be able to save way more money in the future, right? Just theoretically speaking. Obviously, if you save instead of $2,000, you save $30,000, right? Because you have extra income. That's still better than just $2,000. I hope it makes sense logically, right? So your goal right now is, instead of saving money, because that's pretty much impossible, is what can I do to improve my skills to be making more money for my time? Then if you want, you can get a second job, right? There is like a trend right now where software developers are getting 2 jobs at the same time. So if you are getting 2 jobs that are paying you $150,000 a year, then you can do the maths, right? But there are way more possibilities once you have the skills, once you have the knowledge, once you understand the ins and the outs of this industry, which is web development. Now, later down the line, maybe you are tired of web development, you want to get into another industry where it's going to be easier for you to do that if you already have like a solid foundation of how an application works, what a business requires from a programmer, right? It's going to be easier for you to transition, and that's pretty much what you want, to make your life easier. And to make your life easier, you need skills, because skills are paying the bills, right? So I guess this is my video. If I get any other ideas regarding this topic, I'm gonna make a new video. If you wanna improve your skills and actually learn how to do this job, which is web development, you can either learn it by yourself, which is gonna take you 2-3 years, right? Go to a bootcamp, pay like 40 grand for it, and there is no guarantee that anything is gonna work out, because bootcamps are spitting out students like there's no tomorrow, and maybe you're gonna get hired as a bootcamp teacher as well. I don't know if you want that, but anyway. or you can work with me where I have a 6 months money back guarantee. And this guarantee implies that if you don't make any progress within those 6 months, I'm gonna give you all your money back. So you pretty much have no, how can I say, no risks. You're either getting paid and getting hired as a developer, or you're gonna get all your money back and you can decide whatever you wanna do with them. So that's the video. If you liked it, like this video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. See ya.